Hi guys, so today we're going to be working on 10.4. 10.4 requires a bit of graph paper. So if you don't have graph paper, you can print some off online. Otherwise, you can maybe use line paper and graph just as best as you can. So we're going to start with example 1. This is on page 374. So it says, Dr. Seuss often describes patterns in unique ways. He once wrote about a pup in a cup and 3 fish in a tree. So now we're going to they made a pattern out of this thing Dr. Seuss says. So we have 1 pup and 3 fish. Then we have 2 pups and 6 fish. And the first thing you're going to do is copy and complete the table. So if you had 3 pups, how many fish would you have? 4 pups and 5 pups. So we can see that this is moving by 1 and this is moving by 3. So you're going to have 9, 12, and 15. Now the other column they've added for 10.4 is ordered pairs. So as if you were going to graph it. So remember when we do ordered pairs, this is usually X. Well, not usually, it's always X, and this is Y. So we've just changed those letters to be P and F for pups and fish, but we have the order pair 1, 3. The next order pair is going to be 2, 6. Then it's going to be 3, 9, 4, 12, 5, 15. So that's how we complete the table. Then we need to make a graph using the ordered pairs in your table. So down here, they've completed a graph. So this is what you're going to do on your graph paper or equivalent. So the first order, remember, this is your X and this is your Y. So even though you're using different letters P and F, the first number has to be in the X column and the second number has to be in the Y. Okay, so don't get confused just because we're using different letters. So first we have 1 and 3, and the way they organize this graph is they did it by 2s. So both 1 and 3 are kind of in the middle. Then we have 2 and 6. What is this one? 3 and 9. 4 and 12, and 5 and 15. So you can see the pairs, and it should be a linear graph because our pairs are moving up the same both ways on our X coordinate and our Y coordinate. So that's the answer for B. Now we have C. It says describe the pattern of points on your graph. So you should remember that when it says describe the pattern, it's asking you about the relationship between the 2 numbers. So what's the difference between 1 and 3? And then when you find the difference between 1 and 3, it wants to know what's the difference between 2 and 6. And is that the same? So one way we can find the difference between 1 and 3 is we could say, oh, it goes up by 2, plus 2. But if we add 2 to the number 2, that would only get us to 4. So that can't be how we describe the difference because it only works for the first one. So what's another way we can get 1 to become 3? We can times by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. And 5 times 3 is 15. So our pattern, and it tells us down here, is our F coordinate is 3 times the P coordinate. Okay, so that's how we would figure out the difference between the 2 points on our graph. Now, they give you a second difference because they're graphing. They tell you that you could write it this way. You could say that the difference is 1 unit to the right and 3 units up. 1 unit to the right, 3 units up. So you're not describing the difference, well, you're not describing the difference from the table, you're describing the difference on the graph. Either way works for me for these questions as long as you're describing the pattern between these 2 numbers in some way, either from the table like I did that first or from the graph. This is example 2. I would start with example 2 because example 2 has a solution for you. So you can work through the solution to make sure you're understanding. And then if we go all the way down, what page is this? To 378, you're going to do questions 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let me know if you guys have any questions.